Hello and welcome to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And today we're going to add some bit more complexity to our drawing from last video where we drew a city block. We're going to start with the sidewalks. Right now they go off to infinity. We want to finish off those sidewalks and have them end as the buildings do, as if you had the edge of a city block. So we're going to draw a line from the edge of the sidewalk to the left finishing point to create a corner piece, as it were. You can almost imagine this as if it were part of a puzzle. This is the corner. And if we erase our guideline for the sidewalk ends right there. We can do the same thing on the left-hand side by lining the sidewalk up with the right vanishing point. So it just kind of curls in behind that building right there. We can get rid of the rest of the sidewalk. The road is still there, but now our sidewalk actually comes to a conclusion, and we can line up the edge, create that central block in the corner piece, as it were, and we've got our sidewalk complete there, giving it the illusion of actually being part of the city block. Okay, for the road itself, even the road is going to go to the vanishing point on the edge closer to us. So here's our road. Let's make a fairly skinny road right here. It would come to around about here or so, and the corner would also line up with the other, in this case the right vanishing point. So here's the edge of that intersection in the lower left. We'll just make sure they all connect, and we have an intersection forming. We'll put the other one in. We'll make this one a wider road, and it will go to about, actually it'll probably just go right each end of our sandbox. Oh, no, it won't. Okay, so I went a bit too far, so I can just get rid of this part of our sidewalk. And then we just line up the rest of the sidewalk so that they now continue just across the road. So part right there, and right here. And we can actually add in maybe one more block of sidewalk over here, the corner piece, as it were. And then this sidewalk also would line up. And this is where, again, not every block of sidewalk are the same size. You might get repairs going on, so it is possible that they don't all perfectly line up, but to make life easier, we can just line them up with the existing blocks that we have there. We'll put the corner piece for this one as well. And now we have an intersection that we formed. And we'll show the thickness of that intersection. There we go. There we go. Same here. Now, interestingly enough, if we have a road, we often don't think of them as being as such, but roads are going to be black. We're going to have them as if they were asphalt, darkened in. But we want to have some markings on the road as well, so we can tell the cars on what side they should be driving. So this is the part which is a bit more tricky. We have to try and find the middle here. So if we measure between the two sidewalks, we've got about, what is that, 2.4. So at 1.2, right here, that's the middle point. So we're going to have road markings that straddle that point, that middle section of the road. And there. And even these road markings are going to line up with the vanishing point. So you're going to have a segment, I guess, of road marking there. Let's put another one right here. So there's one part of the road marking, and this one here is going to be dark. You're going to darken it all around the road markings. And just like we did with the sidewalk blocks, we're going to try and make them a little bit smaller as they get further away from us. So we'll put one right here. And if that one is that long, we'll try and make this one just a touch bit shorter than the previous. So even the road markings are going to be lining up with our vanishing point. So we can darken around that just to remind ourselves that this part is light, like a yellow or white, and this part is dark. So I'm going to take a few minutes to finish up that road marking there on the left. We'll see how it looks. And when complete, that dark road really does complement the layer scene really nicely. And usually with art, the more work you put into it, the better it looks. So we're going to do the same thing with the other road. We're going to darken the sky a little bit as well, since we know that adding more dark to the scene does make it certainly look better. And the more we add to it, the more impressive it's going to end up looking by the time we're finished. So I will work on that road, work on that sky a little bit. Same technique as before. And when we're finished, again, we'll see how it turns out. All right, and with both roads complete and the intersection in between done as well, you just get that amazing effect, just enhanced even more than it already was. The fact that you've got this really stark, dark road and a lighter background. The sky does temper things a little bit, although it does make the building stand out more at the moment. So once we have the sky and the roads finished, we can then start thinking about where our light is coming from as well. And when completing the row, I'm just using the side of the pencil. If you've not seen their videos, it's called the overhand grip technique, and it just allows you to fill in areas a little bit faster, which especially if they're larger. So, all right, there we have it. So let's say we want the light source coming from the top right. So I might just take an eraser and give myself a circular shape for the sun. I'm not going to outline it because the sun itself does not have an outline around it. It's just a big old ball of light in the sky. Just trying to keep that as circular as possible. And I can always go over the edges later to make it more circular. But that just gives me a sense of where the light's coming from in the scene. And I can very easily just shade in around it to make it more spherical, more circular. And adjust that as necessary. A little bit dark there. And that gets me eventually my more rounded sun shape I'm looking for. And once I have that done, I can then start thinking about where my scene would be darker and where my scene would be lighter. So for example, if the sun's over here, it'd be darker on this side of the building here on the left. And the less white you can leave on the page, the better. Because in real life, you actually don't get a lot of whites anywhere, really. Like even if you've got something like cement, like you've got a cement barrier or even the sidewalk, you're going to have shadows and shading on it as well. So you often don't get a lot of white of the paper left over by the time you're finished. And if the building is darker on this side because of the light, you're going to have a shadow being cast as well coming this way. So it's going to cover just the sidewalk here. I'm going to be careful when adding my shading, however, because I don't want to get all this super dark mixed into the sidewalk. So I'm going to be very careful when I am adding my shadows to just cover the sidewalk, not to get some of that really dark asphalt onto my blending stomp and therefore smudged onto my scene. And we get some darkness on this side of the building. And if you have a light on in the house or an apartment, you might have a little bit of white left over around the windows. And again, the shadow is being cast this way, here onto the sidewalk. Which is why I wasn't too worried about the lines in the sidewalk over here. They're going to get lost in the shadow a little bit. For this building, which is a bit taller than the first one, even though it's further back and appears shorter, it actually is taller because it's higher up. We're going to actually have the shadow extend onto this sidewalk as well. And being careful not to smudge. And the last step, of course, is to take our center line there in our street and just add in the dark around the road markings. So our first one is fairly big compared to where the other ones are going to be, but they're going to get smaller as they get further away from us. So again, lining up with the left finishing point this time to get the right side road markings, and we're just going to try and make them a bit smaller as they get further away. And that will complete our drawing. I hope you found that video useful and helpful. Next video, we're actually going to take all of our skills and enhance them even more by doing a full street scene with all sorts of great details. And I'll probably end up throwing in some sort of kaiju attack or some other interesting thing to make the picture look more impressive. So thank you so much for watching and have yourselves a fantastic day.